Here we are, another episode. This Life Ain't For Everybody, brought to you again, the one and only, the secret sauce, Tennessee Sour Mash Whiskey. Jack Daniels, Lynchburg, Tennessee. Thank you so much for believing in the podcast, the TV shows. Enjoy it responsibly. Never allow underage drinking. Sometimes I watch baseball with a Jack Daniels. I watch baseball all the time. Sometimes I have a Jack Daniels in my hand. Usually if I'm at the park, it would be a cold Bud Light. Sometimes when I'm watching MLB tonight or a game on TV, I might have a little ice with a little Jack. Maybe have it neat. Maybe have it with a little Coke Zero. My guest today is the man. He's a starter for the Atlanta Braves. Y'all have heard him here before. Austin Riley. What's up, my brother?
What's up, Chad? I appreciate you having me on again.
Man, I love having you on. I got to ask you a question, though, going into this, because I know you're at home now, but you leave tomorrow for Milwaukee. You're young. You haven't been in the league too long, but you've proven yourself. Does somebody like Josh Hader worry you at all with what he has from the left side, his delivery, his stuff, his record this last week, 400 strikeouts, faster than any pitcher in history? How do you approach somebody that has that kind of stuff, that is proven of just pretty much striking out the side every time he's in there?
You know, you hope that your team and you put yourself in a situation where you're winning, where he doesn't have to come into the game. Because if he comes in the game, there's a good chance they're winning. So, you know, you hope to put yourself in a situation where that doesn't happen. But a guy like him, you know, you're definitely at a disadvantage, you know, as a hitter, because his stuff is just so electric and it's tough. You just got to go out there and grind and you know, and compete and hopefully he just makes a mistake over the plate. That's about all you can do with a guy like him.
It's one of those things where I look at it, Austin, like you have a little bit of an advantage because you're hitting from the right side of the plate against a guy like that. I would think a lefty would just be like, you know, even if it was Tony Gwynn or Wade Boggs or George Brett, you know, Chipper Jones obviously was a switch hitter. He'd be from the right side against Hader. But man, his stuff is nasty for a lefty. I mean, at least you have time to see the ball a little bit longer from the right side of the plate, right?
Yeah, I'm definitely glad I'm not a lefty, you know, facing him. You know, being a righty, it does give you a little bit better view coming in. But like I say, you know, at the same time, I mean, he's striking out the side. I mean, like his stuff is just so electric. I mean, it's just one of those things where, you know, like I said, you hope you're up in the, you know, later part of the game where you don't have to face a guy like him.
When you think about Milwaukee, are you a big enough baseball fan, even at your age, to understand who Bob Uecker is and what he meant to the game?
You know, I've heard the name. I'm be honest, I don't know a whole lot about him. You know, I've only been to Milwaukee once, and that was in 2019. Other than that, I really don't know much about the city. You know, anything around there, honestly.
Have you watched the baseball movie called Major League with Charlie Sheen and Tom Berenger?
Yeah.
All right. Well, Bob Uecker was the old man on the radio that said, who gives a shit? Nobody's listening anyway.
Now I know. Yeah, I know who you're talking about now.
Yeah, he used to do all the Miller Lite commercials. I mean, I guarantee your dad would know the old Miller Lite tastes great, less filling commercials that Bob Uecker used to be in the bar, and he was like the face of Miller Lite. But he's like Mr. Baseball in Milwaukee, and he's still at the park every day, and he's an outdoorsman, and he's a hell of a guy. But hey, talk to me a little bit about the new season, and is it a lot different than last year? Are you loving seeing some fans around? Is the tempo and the culture different?
You know, it's great because we're in Atlanta. We're back to 100%. So I mean, we're packed out. This past weekend we were packed out. You know, it's super nice to have fans kind of get that adrenaline going compared to last year when we didn't have fans. But as far as like around the clubhouse, you know, I think we've got to 85% of our vaccines yesterday. So things started to let up for us yesterday. We were able to, you know, as far as like wear a mask around like in the gym, we don't have to do that anymore. When we're working out, like we had these little tracker devices. We don't have to have those anymore. So it's starting to free up, starting to feel like normal baseball, for sure. Still, still got to wear our mask in the clubhouse, but it's better than nothing.
Do you find energy in the fan base? It's a proven fan base. I mean, you look back, even if you just go back, way before, you're there, but let's go back mid-90s. This is a freaking franchise, right? The Atlanta Braves are they're going to the playoffs every year. They're winning the NLCS. They're in the World Series. They have some of the best pitchers in the history of the game, one of the best rotations in the history of the game. The fan base is proven. You got the tomahawk chop. You got the music when Chipper Jones is coming from the on-deck circle to approach the plate. I think it was Ozzy Osbourne that he used to walk up to. But this fan base is unbelievable in Atlanta. They're comparable, in my opinion, to like St. Louis. Milwaukee's got a great fan base, but people that understand the game of baseball, being a young player, do you get off on that? Is that something that gets you fired up when you walk out of the dugout and see that, that energy?
Oh yeah, no doubt. Like the other day, a couple days ago, we were down, ended up going down 5-3, bottom of the night. Pablo comes up, 2-run homer to tie it in the bottom or top. Oh, it was bottom 8 or something. Yeah, bottom 8. And they were just freaking electric, and to have that, to be able to feed off of it, really for a player standpoint, it just kind of gets you locked in even more when you're in those tough situations. And like I said, they understand the game, and I think what's cool about it is, they even applaud, like and I've compared it to like St. Louis because I've seen it there. It's like, even if you're a visiting team and you make a good play, they're gonna respect it. And I think that's what's cool about our fan base is, like I said, they understand the game, they appreciate the game, they appreciate the good plays, the whatever it may be. They, like I said, they just understand it, and I think that goes a long way in the history of the Atlanta fan base.
I agree. I think that's one of the greatest parts about the game is being able to understand the crowd and what they're there for. Like baseball's a game of, there's high energy in it, and but there's a lot of focus that has to be on the game as a fan, because you might go 4 innings without a run being scored. You might go 4 innings of no-hit baseball. You might do something as a team that has the fans going, man, it'd be easy to lose focus right now. It's a game that you got to be studied, right? It's not like there's a tackle happening on every play. It's not like there's dribbling happening on every play. It can become monotonous of watching a starting pitcher just throw and hit his spots and no base runners get on. There's a lot of time in a baseball game that there might not be a whole lot of action for a fan base, and it takes a special fan base to stay in it and support that, support that club day in and day out, because not every game is electrifying.
No doubt. It's like a guy, say you got a matchup of Jacob deGrom and Max Fried, going same day, there's a good chance not many runs are going to be scored. But I think, like I said, the appreciation that they understand of how good a Jacob deGrom, how good a Max Fried is, I think that goes a long way for our fan base. And, even for me, it's like, there's been 3 or 4 games this year I hadn't gotten a ground ball at third. So, I mean, it's just like you're having to sit there and make sure you're locked in the whole game. And like I said, I think it takes a special person to really understand and watch it and just be focused in and understand that it's not all about homers. It's not all about just driving runs. I think baseball is the best thing when it comes to, it's all about the little things. And you really got to pay attention to that in order to understand it.
Couldn't say it better myself. I love the strategy. I think it's the toughest game in the world to play for several different reasons. You mentioned Jacob. Describe him in one word.
Intimidating. I mean,
Is he?
He's one of the best pitchers. I mean, that I've ever, even growing up watching, he's just so dominant. and he's doing it at 98 to 100 miles an hour all game. I mean, that's pretty impressive. 94-mile-an-hour slider. That's most average guy's fastball. So, I mean, what he's doing for this game is unreal.
Would you consider him being the offensive threat that you are? Is he the toughest pitcher in the game right now, or who is? If you had to pick one.
Yeah, I would definitely say like I said, his stuff. And I think the difference between him is, along with the velo, along with everything that he had, he's able to locate. He's got a fastball, slider, changeup, and he throws those whenever he wants to. And I think that's what makes him is just because he's able to, a lot of guys that throw 100, they're just barreling in there saying hit it. And he's strategizing, he's painting corners in and out. And, that as a hitter, that makes it pretty tough.
Is it easy to get yourself up for something like that when you're going in to face him or he's coming to Atlanta? Is it easy to get up, or is it hard to be, excited because you almost get a thought of like, man, can I hit this guy? I mean, how does that go into a professional hitter's mind when somebody's that dominating? Do you ever have doubt in yourself?
No, definitely not. I mean, it almost makes it, it's a super challenge. It almost creates this excitement of like, if I get this guy, I mean, I got Jacob DeGrom, you know what I mean? So it's like, you're wanting to get up there, you're wanting him to make a mistake and put a barrel on it. Because like I said, he is so nasty. And when you do it definitely builds that confidence up.
What is it about that face, that face in a guy like that? Is there something that you change from your everyday approach? Do you choke up? Do you spread out like it's a 2-strike count at all times? Do you look the opposite way more because you think you might be behind it? Do you have to start your hands way earlier? What little things does a hitter think about when somebody that dominating is on the mound?
For me, I choke up just a little bit, and at that point you got to trust your hands, because like I said, it's coming in at 100, a 94-mile-an-hour slider. You got to trust your eyes. I'm sitting dead red fastball because I think that's his best pitch, and I think he's going to challenge me as a hitter. So I'm trying to get on that, and you just got to be super short and not do too much. If you get too big, you have no chance of catching up with it. You just don't. I mean, you got to be as short as possible, because he's going to supply the power. All you got to do is put a barrel on it, and it's going to go. So that's kind of my thought process when I face a guy like him.
And what's your success like against him?
I got a homer. My first time facing him, I went 2 for 3 with a homer and a single.
Was the home run off a heater?
Off the fastball.
Did what did it get measured at on that swing? Did you get your bat velocity or the ball leaving the field?
I can't remember.
It had to be 130, 140 miles an hour, huh?
No, it's probably I think it was like 110 or something like that. It was 2 strikes. I was just battling and able to, got lucky and got a barrel on it. It was sweet.
Do you ever get to talk to a guy after that, even though you're not teammates? Does he send a message of like, nice shot, kid, 2 strikes, and you're able to lose one off of arguably the best pitcher in the game today?
No, he I think, pitchers they're different breeds. They kind of in their own zone whenever they're pitching. So, didn't get anything there. I know whenever, Adam Wainwright, my second day in the big leagues, I hit a double off him. He kind of tipped his cap at me, and that was pretty cool, just because I grew up watching him play
with the Cardinals.
Yeah, for
great
sure.
Guy.
So,
big deer hunter.
Yeah, that's right, isn't he?
Yeah. Take it across the country now, coast to coast. Now you're facing the defending world champions.
Okay.
Is there anybody on that team that does Walker make you think about your at-bats? Is he a smart pitcher? Does Kershaw still get to you at all? When you're facing somebody that is the reigning champion, They've had some struggles lately, but they are a good squad. How do you go in? How does the team approach, go, because the Braves they're you guys got a great squad. You're not scared
Yeah.
of anybody. I get that, but
No.
give me an idea of what the talk is like from the manager or the bench coach or the hitting coach. What do you hear as a major leaguer when you're going up against a pitching staff like Dodgers have?
It's just, you're going to be grinding a lot. You're going to be, really, like Kevin Seitzer, our hitting coach, he says this, like, he says, take it as an 0-1 mindset. Just because, that way you're not getting too big. Kind of like I was talking about, a minute ago, is just not getting too big. You got to stay short. A guy like Walker Buehler, he's a little bit comparison to DeGrom, in my opinion. He's just got a fastball that rides really good, close to 100. Dustin May, he's 100 with sink and run. And a guy like Kershaw that's just been around the game a long time, maybe not throw as hard, but, is able to pitch. Those guys, you see a lot of those guys, from team to team, but when it comes to like a number of, every day seeing a guy like that, when you're seeing a series, it's just, the focus has just got to be more amped up. It's just got to be, you're coming in, doing maybe a little bit extra homework, especially if you're in a series like we were last year. You're trying to get every edge you can, whether it's maybe you're trying to see if he's tipping a pitch, whether it's just, if he's having tendencies of, he's throwing this pitch in this certain count. You're just really trying to get, as much edge as you can going into the box.
I want to talk a little bit about something, and if you can't talk about it, Austin Riley, all you got to do is tell me pass. But when you start talking about a team that you spend this much time with, you report to spring trainings, pitchers, catchers, February, position players. You might get there a little early, but sometime into February, early March, and you're together pretty much every day through November if you make the World Series, playoffs, whatever. The race card, the racial part of our country. How protective of you are teammates? Do you see it bothering teammates when we see all of this happening in our country, where there's the talk of separation between the races, and there's things going on racially in our country? It's no secret. You've seen sports guys and athletes that become divided almost with some of the politics that are going on in the country. Is it something that stays out of the clubhouse, or do you see it affecting some of your brothers that you play with every day? How hard is it for the team to stay focused, or do you guys just keep a clear mind and try to keep the headlines out of the clubhouse and the dugout?
I think that's what you just said right there is the perfect formula for kind of what I feel like our team does. When we come into the clubhouse, it's more so, about getting ready for the game. I feel like we have a pretty good group that it doesn't seem to phase. And like I said, I like you said, you see on Twitter and everything about, it does, it's very vocal through some guys. But for us, it really hasn't. And I don't know the reason why, if there is a reason why, if it just is one of those things. But in our clubhouse, we're a very tight group. We all get along. It doesn't seem to affect us as a team at all.
It just seems that baseball has this racial equality through the ages, that it's not white, it's not black, it's Dominican, it's Cuban, it's Mexican, it's Puerto Rican, it's white, it's American, it's Afro-American. It's like it's so many different races that make up the talent of this game over the history of it. I mean, you see everybody wearing Jackie Robinson's number on 42 Day. You see a lot of people talk about Orlando Cepeda or Roberto Clemente, and things that so many different creeds and colors have been successful in this game. It is literally called America's pastime, but it's such a world game. You know what I mean?
Oh, no doubt. And I think that's what's so unique about, the Major League Baseball and our game is, like I said, it is so, diverse. Like I said, you got every, anybody, anywhere, everywhere out through the country can play this game, and they do. And I think that's what's cool about this game is, you got guys coming in, and you may have 4 different languages in the clubhouse that you're trying to navigate through, and I'm trying to learn. I'm trying to communicate with these guys, and I think that's what I think of that, stepping back and taking a look. I think it's cool is just learning how diverse this whole world is, and to be able to play a game where we are able to get along, to get together, and essentially play this sport that everybody loves. I've been very fortunate, and I think it's something that I try not to take for granted, and it's super cool to be a part of.
When you talk about the word super cool and you see the amount of content that you can get today, there's a lot of cool things that are happening behind the scenes that a guy like you might be more privy to than a guy like me. Meaning, let's take Mookie, for example, on the Dodgers. I'm sure a lot of his teammates are like, this dude can do anything, like dunk a basketball, bowl a 300 game. Give me some surprises that would come out of the Atlanta clubhouse. Does Acuna, can he get on a chin-up bar and do 100 of them? Is he ripped up to where when you see him in the locker room with his shirt off, are you like, man, that dude is jacked? Is there somebody that is jacked that you're just like, man, dude, look at like these guys are in incredible shape? Because you don't see that a lot in baseball, right? You don't see the muscle. You don't see the behind the scenes. I mean, give me some surprises that might even surprise the most diehard Braves fan.
Ozzy is, we call him a ball of muscle, because like whenever, like, he literally has, I don't think he has any fat on him, and like just the way, I mean, he kind of walks around like he can't, like, he just kind of like struts it a little bit. And it's kind of, it's funny because he's not a big guy at all. Like, he's not big at all, but like he has a solid muscle. And I mean, he swings the biggest bat on the team.
Wow.
He swings a 35, 30, I think it's a 35, 32 and a half. And I swear it's his tall. It's almost like it comes up to like his waist, and he freaking just whips it. I mean, like I said, he's just a ball of muscle, and he's strong as all get out. And I thought that was kind of cool because he always gives, because I swing a 34, 31 and a half. He gives me crap. He gives Ozuna crap, because I think Ozuna swings a 33 and a half, 32. And he's just saying, he's always giving us crap because, we're bigger than him, but we swing smaller bats than him. So I think that's kind of funny.
What about Acuna? Give me something. Is he, in your opinion, when you get to play with a guy like this every day, and I would ask him the same question playing with a guy like you every day, is there anything that can surprise you anymore with his hand speed and the way that he can literally put the bat on the ball at any given time?
I don't know if you watched the game last night, but the home run he hit
I
think it was like 96 up in the zone. And I mean, just to watch it, how he gets on plane on top of the zone. I mean, it's just, like you said, nothing surprises you. I mean, it doesn't matter if he throws 100, and it seems like the guy throwing 100, he can be sitting on a breaking ball and just react to the fastball and still be able to hit it out of the ballpark. It's unreal. And another funny thing is, I heard, hearing Ozzy, I heard he doesn't sleep at all. I heard he plays video games and just doesn't sleep and just comes out and rakes. So
no sleep, just rakes.
Yeah, just rakes.
Okay, well, give me a little insider secret about the Panda. I mean, he hits this bomb the other night. If you go back in the last decade, San Francisco, if you listen to Kipe and Kruk, who in my opinion are some of the best commentators in the game today for San Francisco, they speak highly of you when you play against the Giants. But it was no secret that the Panda was not like this walking image of being in shape, right? Sometimes he would even come into camp a little overweight. He'd have to struggle to make to make the starting lineup because he might have been a few lbs over. But the dude can rake, and the guy's always got a smile on his face, and the fans fall in love with him. What is it about this cat? Is he just an unbelievable teammate that would just stop on the side of the road to help you fix a flat tire, and you guys know this?
100%. One of the best teammates I've ever had. Just always had, like I said, always, like, he's never in a bad mood. Just always, like I said, always got a smile on his face and just loves to absolutely hit. loves I mean, that's all he thinks about, all he talks about is just the swing, just the mechanic side of it, just everything about hitting. He talks about it. And I think, you know, in my opinion, he's the most clutch hitter I've ever seen, or, you know, recent, or I don't know anybody else, you know, off the top of my head that has been as clutch as he has in his career. And just the way he, you know, like I said, goes about his business. He comes in every day and works. And I mean, it's just, it's incredible to see, like I said, the way he understands the swing and is able to dissect it in a way to where he can put a swing on, you know, like I said, a 97 mile an hour fastball. Because like I said, 6-7 years ago, velo wasn't as high as it is now, or, you know, not consistently. And for him to be, you know, kind of on the back end of his career and make those adjustments to where he can now, you know, be a huge role on our team to swing the bat is pretty cool.
It shows you what a true professional is, because he could very easily be out of the game right now. You agreed? Like,
no doubt.
Like, I mean, he's hitting bombs for the Atlanta Braves that are going to be a pennant chaser this year, and he could easily be out of the game with the amount of talent that is in these organizations, and especially in all of the different farm, you know, the farm levels of you know, AAA and the minor leagues. There's always somebody lurking, and for him to still have a role, that's saying a lot, right?
Yeah, no doubt. And I think, you know, just the way he's able to, you know, slow the game down and able to just, and I think that's the huge reason why he's on our team, is just because, like I said, he's been in those big moments. He's got 3 World Series. You know, I think he was a World Series MVP with like a homer during it. Like, I mean, he's been there. So it's like, no situation's too big for him. I mean, he's done it all. I mean, he's been in every big situation. So, you know, it's just for him, it's just another day, another day at the yard.
But before we move into you, Austin Riley, specifically, I got some questions about you and your game right now. You were playing a position that was coveted by one of the most famous Braves of all time. First ballot Hall of Famer, switch hitter, just an unbelievable story. If you watch the Braves from, I'd say 93, maybe 94, 95, until, you know, today he's in spring training. He's hitting, you know, a liaison. He's a consultant. I don't really even know what is Chipper's official title.
So he's in the cage, and, you know, during BP, you know, at all our home games. So we get to work with him at home when we're doing our cage work before the game and during BP.
So first of all, the mentality of somebody like a Chipper Jones, he's made a good living. He probably, in my opinion, doesn't need the money that the Braves are willing to pay him right now to have his livelihood. He's got to love the game. He has to love the organization. It's almost like George Brett, 21 years with the same organization. Started, was drafted, retired with the Kansas City Royals as a Hall of Famer, a World Series champion, 3 Silver Slugger Awards, and he still goes to the park a lot. He's still in spring training talking to the rookies. What kind of guy is Chipper? Because that's saying a lot to me, that he loves this freaking game, because he could be doing a lot of other stuff on your home during 80 or 81 home games, right?
Yeah, no, I mean, you know, I think a guy that, like, you know, like him, first ballot Hall of Famer, has probably been playing baseball since he was 6 until, you know, now. So it's like he lives, breathes, and eats it, and you know, wants to, you know, I think he wants to give back to the game, because, you know, I think the game has been so fortunate to him for, you know, to be able to do what he does, and to have him, you know, in the clubhouse. You know, I tell guys, you know, that ask about it, it's like his thought process when it comes to trying to attack a pitcher is like no other I've ever been a part of. Just because he's thinking 2-3 pitches in advance and is able to dissect a guy, know his tendencies. And that's what I go to him the biggest about his approach, is just hey, you know, a guy that I'm not really certain about how he's going to attack me, I go to him like, hey, what do you think is going to, you know, how do you think he's going to attack me? And, you know, we discuss that. And and I've had quite a bit of success already this year. Just basically talking to him how I need to attack this guy. Is there certain pitch I need to sit on? And going out there and executing it, and it works out to where I'm able to have a 2-for-4 game or something like that. It's huge.
You guys have a lot in common that some people might not know about with your lifestyles. Does he ever talk smack? Does he ever say, "Hey, don't be letting me down over there at the hot corner"? Does he ever get in you a little bit? Because I assume that you guys have probably sat around and looked at each other's iPhones and some of the pictures on them, or he might get a trail camera pic of an 8-point that he wants to show you because he knows he has these common bonds with you in the outdoors. Is there that kind of friendship with Chipper Jones? Because he's arguably he's easily in my top 5 players of all time personally to watch. The guy was absolutely amazing to watch rake and play left field and third base. The guy's an absolute stud, and he's a legend, right? At 49 years old, the guy's a legend. And that's saying a lot, Austin, because he had so much success at such a young age, and he never once faltered. It didn't go he never pushed himself out of the game. You know what I mean? No. What a freaking career. But does he ever get in you a little bit or, talk a little smack? Is there a cool friendship there?
Yeah, no, he always, before the games, he's like, thrill me. He that's kind of his saying. He's like, show me something today. And, we faced Aaron Nola with the Phillies the other day. And, I see him pretty well. And, we were talking and I was like, yeah, I see him really well. I'm so pumped about today. I'm gonna get him. I ended up going 0 for 2 with 2 Ks off of him. And next day he was like, I thought you saw this guy pretty well. So just give me a little crowd like that. But just sitting around watching TV, watching hunting because we got it on in the clubhouse. It's fun to. It's always fun to have somebody around. Especially a guy like him. That you can talk hunting with, pick his brain about his favorite hunting spot, because I'm wanting to try to travel a little bit, whether it's Kansas, wherever, Illinois or something, just to figure out where the best spots are, and I feel like he's done it. He's killed some big deer. He's got his his Major League Bow Hunting show. So I mean he's definitely he's fun to talk to in the clubhouse, no doubt.
That's awesome. Your season, talk to me a little bit about what's going on. Your average is awesome. Like you're hitting close to 300, 290, somewhere in there. Your home runs now, are they down for what you want? You have, I think, 3 or 4 bombs. I expect more out of you. Like if Chipper walked up to you, I would be like, Chipper, shouldn't Austin have more than 3 home runs at this time of the year? Tell me what's going on with your approach to the plate, your offense right now, because the average is there, the hits are there, the contact's there. I'm not watching every game, but give me some insight on what you're experiencing so far in the 2021 season.
I think it's more so of trying to put it all together. Because like I said, last couple of years it was, I was hitting home runs, but I was striking out a bunch. Average wasn't there. Walks weren't there. Now it's the average is there. The walks are up. Strikeouts are down. The power numbers, aren't really where I want them to be. But I think as far as, those will come. Because I'm barreling a lot of balls up, and that's kind of, what Chipper talks about is that, he's always like, just barrel balls up, hit line drives, the home runs and stuff are going to take care of themselves. Doubles are going to come. But you give yourself a chance whenever you're having a professional at bat every time you get up there and, you're drawing your walks, your on base percentage is going up. You may go, I was 1 for 2 the other day with 4 walks and 3 runs scored. I was, I didn't hit a homer, didn't hit a double, but I scored 3 times. So it's like just trying to develop that whole side, of my game to where, even if I don't have my, my stuff at the time, I can still, like I said, get on base, get on, score some runs. And once I think that I'm not worried about the home run numbers. Those are going to come. I've squared some balls up, that, maybe have a little bit of, bad luck with wind or whatnot, big part of the park. So, I mean, they'll catch up with themselves. So, but like I said, I actually am very pleased of where I'm at right now.
Describe to me what you just meant when you said professional at bat, Austin.
So the best way I can put it is you're facing a Jacob deGrom, and a non-professional at bat is, you're taking strike one, swinging a curveball in the dirt for strike two, and then he punches you out on a changeup, that paints the inside corner for strike three. Not a professional at bat. But say if you get down, maybe you take strike one, foul off, next pitch, you're down 0-2. You don't swing at that curveball in the dirt. 1-2. Now he tries to rush you with a fastball, just above the zone. Ball two. Now you're back in 2-2 count. Then he throws that changeup, that again is just below the zone that you're able to lay off. Now you're 3-2. Now you're back in. But now you're back in a count. You're getting this pitch count up. That's what I consider, a professional at bat. It's just you're not going up there. 1, 2, 3, bam, you're gone. You're able to grind a little bit, and like I said, put up like what I consider a professional at bat.
Let's talk about two scenarios that occur in the game of baseball that might be different from other sports, professionally or amateur. You go 0 for 4 on a Monday, but you don't have to wait 7 days to play like the NFL does. No. You might be right back in there on Tuesday night. You're the starting third baseman for the Atlanta Braves. It might be a different pitcher, might be a lefty, might be a righty, might be a changeup pitcher, might have a cut fastball. Who knows what he throws? But that's one, right? That's one thing of the mental game of baseball. It's like, man, I can't wait to get back in there because I can make up for that 0 for 4. And then, but now you're in that game, 9 innings long, 27 outs. You make an unprofessional at-bat in the third inning or the second inning, let's say. You got to wait 8 other guys before you get a chance. But in between that, you got to keep your focus because now you got a glove on your hand playing a very difficult position that has reaction time and focus and arm strength and footwork, and you got to be able to leave your feet. You got to be able to charge the bunt. You got to be able to do a lot of stuff where you play. Give me the scenarios, Austin Riley. How do you ever get anxiety? Do you ever get down on yourself to where you find yourself going, holy shit, I better get my head in this game because this guy could hit a liner at me at any given time. Even though I just struck out looking against DeGrom, I got to be ready for this guy now. How do you approach that part of the game?
This game is so much, it's so much mentally. It's, but like I said, kind of what you were saying at the beginning, you don't have to wait 7 days to play again. You get back out there, and we've kind of talked about this, me and Dansby, we've had our struggles, as a team, but it's just like, hey man, we get to play tomorrow. It can always turn around tomorrow. But like you said, taking it to the game scenario, I may bat in the second inning and like I said, have a bad at bat where, just wasn't feeling it. 0 for, strike out, 3 pitches, go sit down, lick your wounds. But, I got to get out there and help my team, play defense. And for me, it's one of those things where, it's a lot of self-talk. It's a lot of, in between the ears of, I take myself back to a play, whenever I'm not feeling, sexy in the field, whether I did have a bad at bat or I may have made an error, a couple of innings before, I take myself to a time where I made a nasty play in a high pressure situation. And I just kind of run that through my head. And it's just like, it builds kind of back that confidence, because the brain it's so powerful, and it's just like visualization. It's just like you can almost visualize yourself, making this play, hitting this ball in this certain account and this pitch, and then it happens. So I think, just being able to control that mental side of the game, going out there and not, not getting too high, not getting too low is a huge part of how you're being, able to be consistent, throughout a game.
You mentioned one of the most important words, in my opinion, in the game of baseball, not just the game of baseball, Austin Riley, but the game that we call life. Ted Williams wrote about it in his book, The Science of Hitting. Arguably the best hitter of all time, last hitter to hit 400 in a regular season. There's been guys close. There's talk about Trout this year. George Brett was close one of his seasons. Charlie Blackmon was hitting well over 400 into the later part of last year. Visualization. You visualize a 140 walking under your tree stand. You picture the limb breaking. You picture the wind. You picture the frost coming out of your mouth. You picture the cameraman over your shoulder or Tyler Jordan sitting there saying something. You visualize the night before. The alarm clock going off, getting up, the coffee pot. This is how we live our lives as hunters, as baseball players. There's probably not a more important thing to keep focused than visualization of knowing the shift, knowing the plate, knowing the strike zone, knowing the delivery, the release point of a pitcher's arm. Where's the outfield playing me? What is going on when I'm in the infield? What's Dansby doing? Are we turning two? Are we going home? Are we going across the diamond to first base? There's all sorts of things to picture in life, right? Are you constantly doing this? Does your wife have to tell you to get your head into the conversation with her because you're sitting there going, I know tomorrow I'm facing DeGrom. I know this pitch is going to come on the inner half. I know he's going to try to break me off. Something. Are you consistently visualizing? Because you are a guy that has all these different things in life, and a lot of us do. I'm consistently visualizing. Do you find yourself doing it a bunch?
Oh yeah, all the time. Whether it's more so at home, because I'm pretty good at, like, when I keeping baseball at the baseball field. When I'm home, keeping relaxed, whatever. So when it's at the house, it's more on the hunting side. With Anna, she's I'm always, it's once as soon as, like, turkey season for me just ended. I went yesterday and wasn't able to get one, so I'm done. So it's like I immediately shift to deer season. Now it's like, all right, I gotta get my bow set up, or I got whether I need a couple more tree stands, whether I need this, that, and the other for deer hunting. So she definitely, she gets in me a little bit when it comes to that, but nothing too serious. And then the baseball side, it's just, when I'm in the field, it's like, you got a guy on first and third, one out. It's like, if he hits it this speed, I got to go home because I don't have time to turn two, or excuse me, if the base is loaded, if it's this speed, I don't have time to turn two. I got to go home. But if it's hit hard enough to my left side, I'm able to turn two, to get two outs. All those scenarios are going on pitch by pitch, because, like I said, it's, you're trying to judge, almost not guess, but almost have like a sixth sense of where, say if it's, 0-2 bases loaded, he's throwing a changeup. If he hits it to me, it's, there's a good chance he's going to pull it to my right side. So it's like, I got to almost kind of start, gradually getting ready to move that way. And I think that gives you that, that little bit of an edge of, if he does smoke it, you're able to make a diving play or do whatever. It gives you time to make a play. And those scenarios are constantly going on, in my head all the time.
So as the starting third baseman in that bases loaded scenario, 2 strikes, do you know, or are you guessing that it might be a changeup, or does the team know as a whole?
No. So Dansby, at times Dansby's able to make we have like a little noise that he makes that tells me if off speed's coming. Sometimes I can hear it depending if the crowd's too, loud or whatnot. But a lot of times, being at third base, I can see what the pitcher's holding, because, like I said, my focus is on the pitcher, and then I track the ball, to home plate. So I'm able to most of the time, be able to pick up what he's throwing, and that kind of gives me that little edge.
So take me through that first and third scenario. This is a 1 out. You're the third baseman. Does it depend on now you got to be thinking like if it's a Texas leaguer ground ball, I know Texas leaguers are referred to as a little weak pop-up, but I don't know what to call. What do they call it? A shimmy when it just barely comes off the bat? It's almost like a bunt, but a full swing. I don't even know what it's called.
Right. I call it a swing and bunt.
Swing and bunt. There's a lot of scenarios in this too, because if you can't turn 2 to get out of the inning, this run's scoring. Part of you's got to be thinking to save that run depending on the lead and depending on what time of the game it's in, or what. How do you look at that?
Yeah, the scoreboard will tell you everything. If we're up by 2, first and second, 1 out, and like you said, that swing and bunt, I'm just going to get an out. I'm just going to get the guy out at first. And trust our pitchers to get that last out. And we still up 1. It just, like I said, the scoreboard will tell you a lot. And you really just got to you got to take what the play gives you. You can't try to overdo whatever, try to make something out of nothing. And sometimes it works out in your favor where, you may get that, 1 hop ground ball where you're able to turn 2. You may get the chopper where you have to get the guy out at first and the guy scores. So, I mean, it's just, like I said, you got to just take what the play gives you.
You mentioned the scoreboard just now, and we're in an age of legitimate scoreboards that might as well be the biggest TV in the world, right? They're high definition jumbotrons. Are you happy with who you see up there, Riley? You are a first round draft pick. You're a starter of one of the most heritage, storied organization franchises in sports. Do you like who you see up there? Do you wish you would have had a better photo day? Were you on your A game that day? Does your mom call you and say, look, I'm up here in the 3rd row in the players' family section. You need to shave the stubble? Or what does it mean to look up on that scoreboard, Austin Riley, and see your freaking dome up there as a starter in the major leagues?
It's pretty cool, not gonna lie. I wouldn't say I did have a bad photo day. I'm not a dislike the photo. I'll tell you one thing. I'm terrible. So in between innings, we do these little games, whether it's like you're sticking your hand in this thing, you're trying to feel what it is, or you're trying to guess something. I'm absolutely terrible at those. So whenever they throw my video up there, I'm just like, golly, I gotta listen to this. I'm like, I can't. And it's one of those things where I know what it is but I'm in the moment. I'm just like, and my mind goes freaking blank. So I'm just like kicking myself because it's like a freaking hair barrette, and I'm like, I have no clue what it is at the time, but I'm like, come on now, I got to be better than that.
So what is the atmosphere like with you, with the fans? Do they, as a whole, on the road and at home? We started off this conversation about COVID and about the fan base. Is it amazing to you to know that you were in those kids' shoes at one time, or you were just a fan of a baseball game at one time, and now there's guys and girls and moms and dads and aunts and uncles, and they're coming out to watch Austin Riley. They're buying your merchandise. They're wearing your name and your number on their shirt in the stands. I mean, this is almost surreal, right? Like you're making a living playing a kids game that you're very good at. You're making an organization money by putting butts in the seats, selling merch and cold beers and parking passes. How do you approach that part of the game, Austin Riley? Do you have to step back and check yourself once in a while of like, whoa, I need to sign more autographs. I wasn't out there long enough today. Wait, I need to give them a little bit more attention. How do you deal with the focus that has to stay on that at bat and that glove in the field, but you also have to give those fans some love too?
Yeah, unfortunately now with COVID and stuff, we're not allowed to sign autographs at games, which sucks because, like I said, they're the reason why we have jobs. The fans are everything. They're the reason why we are able to come play this kids game for a living, which I hate that about it. But, I try to take pictures whenever I can before the game. I grab dirt all the time in between pitches and just, play with it a little bit. And, fans will be like, something about, dirt or whatnot. I try to interact with them a little bit just to, keep the mood light. And it helps me a lot just because, I feel like sometimes we get too focused in on the game. And if I can, interact with a fan or not to lighten the mood a little bit, it helps me, to be focused, if it makes sense, for 27 outs. So yeah, I mean, it's on the road, we get hammered a good bit. A guy one time asked me if I hit up every GNC in Atlanta for all the creatine. That was a pretty good
Why, were you
one.
looking buff that day?
I don't know. I guess so.
Or did it look like you were holding a lot of water? Because I think creatine does that too.
I think I was holding a lot of water that day. But yeah.
So what's the deal with the autographs, Austin? Because of the interaction and being close to somebody?
Apparently, so I think it's one of those things where, because most of the time it's their pen or pencil, and they don't want us freaking touching. I think it's a little over the top. But
this is what I want you to do, Austin, on the next home game today, and I'll invest in this with you. Let's buy 2 dozen balls. Let's buy 2 dozen gamers. You sign them.
All right.
And then you just toss them up to the kids with the batting glove on, no germs on the ball. You signed it with your pin. I'll pay for the balls, and you just throw them out to the kids, and they didn't even have to. They don't get to meet you, but they at least get to see your face and throw it to them.
Right. That's a great idea. I've actually done that a couple times with a few fans that, whether it's, family friend asking for somebody that, they wanted a ball or whatnot. I've actually done that. So that's actually a really, really good idea.
I just think that some kid, these kids that are going through so much. Could you imagine if you were missing your senior season last year, you wouldn't have got drafted, not as high as you did, right? Like, can you imagine?
No doubt.
So that, like, these kids, you got to give them some love, because this game's been hard on them over the last 18 months too, of missing Little League games and Babe Ruth games and high school games. And some kids, and boys and girls, miss their whole senior seasons of competing. It's crazy in college and high school. Yeah. So think about that. Let me know if it can happen.
Oh yeah,
I'll put in on that.
Yeah, we'll make it happen, no doubt.
I'll put in on that. Now you see this shirt I'm wearing, right? You recognize this?
Oh yeah, I wear it every day.
I'm ready to play, Riley. I'm ready to play.
Let's go.
I think I can play.
What position would you be? What position would you be, probably?
Well, when I was your age, I could run, so I was a center fielder, leadoff hitter, number 2, sometimes 3. But my college coach called me the worst recruiting mistake that he ever made. So that kind of hurt me, Austin, to hear that. But he's still a good friend of mine. He's 77 years old now. He spoke at my birthday party last October. But I love the game. I love the idea of putting this shirt on, this BP warm up or workout, whatever you call the sleeves, with the Atlanta A on it. It made me feel like, man, what if? That's what's so cool about baseball. That's what guys like you need to understand. And I know that you do not take this for granted, but there are so many guys older than you, like me, that are living through you vicariously, because at one time we were in your shoes of being like, man, I want to make the major leagues. You did it. Like, that is such a blessing to have that talent and that opportunity. Yeah. And that's what's so cool about the game, that it gives back to guys like me, because I get to talk to you. It keeps guys like you humble, that you don't come out of your shoes and you still allow the interaction of people that really, really wanted to be there at one time and did not have the talent and the opportunity to do it. I had cross-checkers look at me, Austin Riley, and say, you just don't have the arm strength. You get to the ball very well. You get rid of the ball. You're at an accurate arm. You just don't hit enough bombs. You don't run the gaps well enough. Whatever it was, I had to be that person that got let down by the game in a way, because I wasn't good enough. But the game saved me again later on in life, because now I get to hunt with guys like you. I get to meet guys like you. I get to walk into a major league stadium and smell that grass and taste that cold beer and hear that ball hit that bat, or the catcher's glove of a DeGrom fastball or an Austin Riley home run leaving the park. That's the importance of this game. So when those kids are there wanting an autograph, it's more than just like, man, I just need somebody's autograph. Now, I know there are hounds. I know there are the guys that will come in there and try to get you to sign a ton of different things, or, they have a big thing with plastic folders in it, and they take the Beckett baseball card magazine out and have you sign the cover or whatever, or Sports Illustrated. But this game means a lot to a lot of people. And it's awesome to have guys like you that are flying the flag, that get it and understand how important this game is to the fabric of our country, if that makes sense to you.
Oh yeah, no, it makes complete sense. And you couldn't have said it better. It's kind of what like I said earlier, the fans are the reason why we have jobs. It's just like, so if you can it literally takes 2 minutes max out of your day to go over there, sign a couple balls, have that interaction with some fans. And, you just gained a fan for a lifetime. And, you don't know what kind of impact that may have made on their life or what, whatever they're going through, you know what I mean?
100%. And that's why I think it's so cool that you get to do what you do. Speaking of getting to do what you get to do, Austin Riley, take us through to end this podcast. Take us through what's getting ready to go down today. You're sitting on a nice couch. You have a game today. What are you going to eat for breakfast? If you haven't already, tell us what you ate for breakfast. Do you take a cold shower to wake your muscles up? Do you get in a hot tub and sit in a sauna for a while? What time do you report to the ballpark? How do you get to the ballpark? Do you have a limousine that picks you up, Austin Riley? Do they roll out a red carpet and a band comes out for you to leave your house and get in the car? Or do you get in your pickup truck and drive yourself? Take me through your day until you get back home tonight.
So I've had coffee this morning. I'll get to the field about 2:15. I'll drive I still got my first truck that big boy purchased 2015, black Chevy. I was thinking about getting rid of it actually, and I just cannot pull the trigger because it's my baby. So take that to the field, get there. I'll eat some lunch, and then today I have to lift, so I'll get a lift in about 3. And then go to the cage, get my swings in, get loose. And then Ron Washington, our infield guy, he has his Infield Drills that he does with us every day. So we'll do that. Take BP. After BP, I go take a quick, probably 25 to 30-minute nap. I always got to do it. Just one of those things that kind of rejutes you a little bit.
Where's that at before you move on?
So we have a back room that has some recliner chairs. So I get in some like recovery boots, get in those, take a quick nap, then I go jump in the cold tub real quick, get dressed, hit the game. That's a wrap.
And then you get back in the same truck and you drive home and you think about what just happened the last 3 hours?
Right. Got to call my dad every night. Got to talk to him. He likes to run through every at bat, good or bad. So gotta give him and mom a call every night. So that's a wrap. And then wind down. We're not getting back till 11:30 every night, and it takes me about an hour. So I'm not going to bed till 1 o'clock every night. So yeah.
Sleep in a little bit, do it all over again. 162 games a year, not including the playoffs, the pennant chase, the World Series. Last question. What's your call? Are you guys National League champions? Are you going to the World Series this year? Are you guaranteeing it? Are you just give me some insight, Austin Riley, on This Life Ain't for Everybody podcast. Are the Braves going to be the 2021 World Champions for Major League Baseball?
Yeah, I think we have the team to do it, no doubt. Like I said, we're not clicking on all cylinders right now, and I think we're 1.5 game back. So there's no panic whatsoever. Once we get everybody clicking, rolling, pitchers are start getting into their groove. I think we got a really good team, and I don't see why we wouldn't have another division run, another postseason run like we did last year. And I think the outcome this year, I think could definitely be better than what it was last year. No doubt.
I love it.
Love it.
If you had to change your walkout song, do you have another one that would be off the tip of your tongue? And we're leaving the crowd, the audience, with this. I know you're a country boy. I know you like some country music, but are you going to go out to some AC/DC, or are you going to go out to some Hank Jr.? What would it be right now? What's in your ears right now that you would want the fans to know, like, this is Austin Riley coming to the plate?
So I don't know if you know, my walk-up song right now is Hot in Here by Nelly.
Yep.
And it has been since rookie ball. I've been very fortunate, so I'm not changing it. But for me, when I get out on the field, I want to hear some rap. I want to hear some hip hop. So I'm old school. So first thing that comes off the tip of my tongue is "Buy You a Drink" by T-Pain.
Oh, a little T-Pain. If the way that I'm looking at it, to get the crowd way fired up, you come with some Wheezy with some Lil Wayne, or you come with a little Outkast. You come with an Atlanta-based. I think Outkast is Atlanta too, and they got some sick jams. And then you got Master P. You got a lot of different rappers from Atlanta. You might have to switch over because Nelly's a St. Louis Cardinals guy, man.
I know. If I had to choose another, I'm going to Dansby Swanson for sure. He's got all the music. He's got everything from Atlanta. He's the guy to go to talk about if you want to change your walk up song.
Austin, good luck today. Good luck this season. We will have you back on before the season's over because that's just too long not to talk to Austin Riley. I want a little pre-World Series, a little post-World Series. I want to see the ring on your finger one of these days. We need to get together and do one of these live after this COVID lays down a little bit more. But you're the man, brother. Sure. Hit the ball good tonight.
Yeah, I appreciate you having me on.
I love having you on. Give me 1 second. This has been This Life Ain't For Everybody podcast, brought to you again by our friends in Lynchburg, Tennessee, the one and only Tennessee Sour Mash Whiskey. Jack Daniels. Enjoy it responsibly. Never allow underage drinking. Baseball, it's the sport of kings, in my opinion. I absolutely love the game, and I love it being represented by human beings such as Austin Riley. He's got it together. We're going to get him on the Foul Life podcast one of these days and talk duck hunting because 100% you're coming duck hunting this year, boy.
Let's do it.
Y'all have a great day. I would go out with Nelly, but I don't know if Nelly would get pissed off at me for using his music. So we're going to go out with another. Do you like Cody Jinks?
Oh, yeah.
Isn't he awesome?
I like Cody. Oh, yeah, he is.
What's your favorite song? You like Hippies and Cowboys?
Let's hear it. I like that one.
We're going out with Cody Jinks, Hippies and Cowboys. That's been Austin Riley on another episode of This Life Ain't For Everybody. Thank y'all for the subscriptions and downloads. Tom, Jake, hit that button. Cody Jinks, Hippies and Cowboys.
Raising hell with the hippies and the cows.